All right, welcome to a new month. I'm excited. Fresh starts are always nice, and whatever happened last month doesn't matter whether it was good, bad. It's a brand new start. It's a brand new game. One of the things I wanted to talk about with you folks is one, how to hit your next promotion. Being that it is a new month, it is an opportunity to one, strategize, come up with a game plan, set your markers to put you on the best track to going out there and hitting your accomplishing your goal, whatever it is for your personal, your team, promotions, contracts, all that stuff. I wanted to cover that with you really quick today so that you can better prepare, being that it's the beginning of the month versus trying to procrastinate and prepare later on when time has gone by and you aren't able to take advantage of it all. So let's jump on into it really quick. So when making a decision to go on your on a promotional run, whenever you're fighting for goals or whatever it is, there's a few things that you got to make sure that you keep in mind 100% of the time. Number one is you got to make a decision to be consistent with work ethic. And when we talk about work ethic here, it's not about like, hey, the amount of people I'm just going to go talk, I'm in the office. Like, you being in office settings does not count towards like working hours. You know, paperwork does not count towards working hours. The hours that we track here are calls, appointments, and prospect. And we'll get into it in just 1 second. The same thing is driving systems. You've got a lot of opportunities to leverage experts, tools, systems to help you maximize opportunities and exposures to get results. Leveraging trainers, like I mentioned earlier, getting clear on what your numbers are. Most times we just run with no direction. Making sure that you maximize the whole month and are very clear about what the goals are, what the markers are need to be, is going to give you a higher chance, the higher likelihood of actually hitting your goal, which is a big deal. And the last one is keeping yourself accountable to somebody. You know, who is it that you're keeping yourself accountable to? And accountability, we're going to get into it in a little bit, but I want to just really quickly take some notes. These are some of the 5 points we're going to talk about today that's going to help you increase the likelihood of hitting your next promotion. So let's jump on into it. Number one is tracking the amount of hours that you're giving to PHP. Like, if you're a business owner, right, and your business, your doors are only open 1, 2, maybe days out of the whole week, you're not in business for a very long time, right? And so you got to identify, like, how many hours is my doors open for PHP? How many hours am I dedicating to PHP? And so the ways that we track it is, like I mentioned earlier, something called CAP. CAP, the amount of calls that somebody makes in a weekly basis, the amount of appointments that you run on a weekly basis, and the amount of prospects, new names and new numbers. So let's go through it. For every 25 calls, and by the way, these calls are not to teammates, these calls are not to carriers, these calls are new opportunities to create exposures, to book appointments or whatever it is, to create activity. But for every 25 calls, that's going to equal about 1 hour of work. So if I make 25 phone calls in a week, that means I've actually spent 1 hour of working my business. If I made 100 calls in a week, I worked 4 hours in my business for that week. So for every 25 calls, it equals 1 hour. Appointments. For each appointment, it'll equal to 1 hour of work. So if I sit down at Starbucks with somebody, if someone comes into the office, I do a field training appointment with a trainer, or maybe I'm the trainer, and or maybe it's a solo appointment. For every single appointment that I run, that you run, you can calculate that into being equal to 1 hour of work. So if you're averaging 5 appointments per week, that's an extra 5 hours you're actually pouring into your business. If you're running 10 appointments per week, that's 10 hours that you're pouring into your business per week, just based on the amount of appointments that you're running. And the last one is prospects. And what's a prospect? It's just a new name and a new number. And for every 3 new names and new numbers, okay, for every 3 names, new names and numbers, right, it's equal to 1 hour of work. For every 3 new names and numbers, it's equal to 1 hour of work. Whether it's a referral, whether it's I'm out and about meeting people, I'm using the 4 questions to go out there and shake hands, kiss babies, get new names and numbers, increasing my database, that's going to equate to 1 hour of work with prospecting. And so if you're part-time in the business, like, the amount of hours you want to shoot for is you want to be working, like, you want to calculate up. If you can do 20 hours per week, that's solid. Like, you're on track to be basically replacing your job even on a part-time basis. When I first got started, I was averaging like 20 hours, 22 25 hours per week on a part-time basis, and that's where I developed the skill sets, the habits, the consistency to then transition full-time now that I have more time to be able to dedicate. And now it's like you average a lot higher, 60, 70, 80 hours per week, just utilizing using these calculations to determine the amount of hours that you're able to invest into your business, right? But you got to understand like the amount of hours. So I want you to do it. Take some time right now. Go through the last week, the last 7 days. How many calls did you make? How many appointments did you run? How many prospects, new names and numbers did you get? Add that up, and that's going to tell you the amount of actual time that you've invested into working your business, that you've invested into opening up your doors to stay in business. So one is understanding the amount of time that you're investing so that you can track to making sure that you're actually investing the right amount of time into it. Number two, leverage the system and experts. One thing we got to keep in mind is that we have, for those that are wherever you're at, you have two opportunities, BOMs and webinars, okay? And those are settings that are created for you to maximize exposures in a small time frame. So you got, like, think about it. If you're comparing apples to apples, if you had 10 appointments that each take 1 hour in a week, that's 10 hours that week that it took you to go out there and run those appointments. Versus you have 10 guests that show up at either a BOM or on the webinar, and they get the same amount of exposures in 1 hour. Think about time, right? So for those of you that are part-time and you're trying to create as many opportunities, exposures, and results, the advantage that you have is that you don't have to do it all by yourself. That you actually have the opportunity to leverage the system, which is local events, webinars, that's designed to put experts and credible people in front of your guests to make you look good and to increase the likelihood of getting you results, right? So one, maximizing my time. Two, maximizing the system's time, okay? And then also the experts. Just remember, you don't have to know everything. The best opportunity that you have is you work with a team of experts that you can leverage, you can utilize to help you get results on a day-to-day basis. See, when I was brand new, I had no background in the industry. I had no understanding about how this stuff worked, But I knew that if I could leverage somebody else who knew more than I did at the time, that they could still get me the results that I was looking for, and I didn't have to know everything else. Next is here's know your numbers. Now here's an area where most people fall short, is because they're not clear on what direction they need to go in. Not clear on what the amount of energy and effort that it's going to take, is going to require, right? The guidelines that it's going to require in order to maintain those promotions, to earn those titles, right? And so here are a couple common titles that you guys are probably going to be facing, that you and people on your team are going to be constantly driving and pushing for, and I'm just going to cover like a few of them. This is not the conversation of those on One Hit Marketing Director. One, qualified to be on the builders call that we have in the entire organization on a weekly basis, because that call is designed to help people go, one, full-time in the business, and two, to actually go out there and hit marketing director. But I'm going to talk about the more common positions. So field associate, FA, that's doing 10 business partners, 10 applications, and 10,000 points of production. Now just keep in mind, from this point on, from FA and on, it is a team accomplishment, meaning everybody in your team rallies together to accomplish this one goal. And that's a big deal. See, I love this game because you get to play with other people. You don't have to do everything and beat everybody. You have an entire organization that comes together, a team that comes together that's united around accomplishing one common goal. And so what does it take for someone to hit field associate? What does it take for a team to rally together to make sure you guys have earned that field associate title and accomplishment? Well, in order to get 10 business partners, it's getting 100 people to say, yes, I will be there, yes, I will be on your webinar, just to communicate to you, saying, yes, that you can count on me to be there. Not saying that all of them have to show up. That's not what it means. It's just 100 people that say, yes, I will be there. Because if you are familiar with the numbers game, the formula 10-3-1, you'll know that of 100 people that say yes, that they will be there, that 30 people will show up. That at least 30 people will show up. Of those 30, you should be getting 10 results just by leveraging those type of BOMs or your webinars. That's why it's so important to drive captains in a small compressed time frame, because you can do these numbers in a faster period of time. By the way, this is a whole month's worth of activity. This is not on a weekly basis. And this is not just by yourself. This is within the whole entire organization. And then for the points and apps, it's helping 10 families save $100 a month. That's it. That's 10 families saving $100 a month. You have 30 days to do that. Think about the amount of people who are already looking to save money for their future. Think about the amount of money, the people that want to get ahead for their retirement, for their kids' future, and all these type of things. It's just helping 10 families save $100 a month. But let's say you're in a position where it's like, hey, I'm already an FA. Hey, you know what, Carol, I want to run for more. And let's say you're running for a director. Okay, director. Director is doing 25,000. Both of these are in a month, in a calendar month. So in a 30-day time frame, the team has to rally together to accomplish one common goal. Okay? Now remember, this is a team accomplishment, meaning everybody in the entire team comes together, becomes united to attack and accomplish this thing right here. So what does it take to hit director and do 25 business partners, 25 applications, 25,000 points? Well, as you can see here, in a whole month, you will need 225 people that say, yes, I will be there. Not all of them need to show, but they just need to communicate, yes, I will be there. Of that 225, 75 will show up for the whole month. This is 30 days worth of activity. It's a calendar month worth of activity. Of that 75 that show up, you can expect 25 to come on board. 25 people to come on board if you just run these numbers. The numbers work. And I promise you, you stick to the numbers, you stick to the formula, you follow these numbers and these, like this track, you're going to be very surprised. 25 apps, 25,000 points, it's 25 families saving $100 a month. That is it. You make a decision, your team makes a decision to go out there, help 25 families protect themselves, their family, generations, get ahead financially, right? And helping them save $100 towards their future. You as an entire organization, you as a team come together and knock this stuff out in a 30-day period, right? But now, boom, now you know your numbers. And these are the more common positions. Like I said, this is not for marketing director to become a broker to run a small agency. That is going to be covered on our builder's call, so make sure that you get there as well. So here's something that's really important. Why is associate count important? What's an associate count? An associate count is the amount of people that are on your team. The more people that are on your team, right, the easier and the smaller the numbers actually get as a whole. So watch this. Let's say you have 10 people on your team, you plus 9 other people. There are 10 of you guys all together collectively on your team right now. In order to go hit FA, it's every single person right now in that month, the beginning of the month, saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to get 10 people who say, yes, I will be there for the whole month. Each person gets 10 people to communicate to them saying, yes, so-and-so, yes, auntie, yes, uncle, yes, neighbor, your friend, yes, I will be there. Yes, I will be there. Each person on the team gets 10 yeses for the whole month, and each one of them find helping one family save $100 for their future. One person who saves $100 per month. Each person on the team, the 10 of us, we all help one family. Boom, FA, done. It is done. But let's say you want to run for director, and it's like, hey, well, you know, we really want to stretch ourselves. We want to do it big. Okay. Let's say you want to go hit director, and director, like I mentioned earlier, is 25 business partners, 25 applications, and 25,000 points of production in a calendar month, in a 30-day period, right? So if you have 10 people on your team, every single one of us, if we all just buy in and commit to getting 22 and a half people, yes, I said it, 22 and a half people who each say, yes, I will be there, to either your local BOMs or your webinars, right, where they can get mass exposures. 22 and a half people, each of us, with 10 people on the team, that say yes, and we each find 2.5 families to save $100. 10 of us. That's 10 of us. Can you imagine having to do all of it by yourself? Let me go back. You by yourself having to get 225 people to tell you by yourself yes. 225 people to tell you yes. Then you got to go out there and help. You got to find 25 families to save $100 by yourself. Right. But if you have next, why associate count is so important? Here, let me tell you what associate count is. Your associate count it determines the amount of people that are on your team that are actively coming to meetings. actively coming to trainings or they're actively in the game. And let me tell you why associate account, why building your associate account is so important. The bigger your associate account gets, whatever the goal is, the smaller the individual contributions are. So watch this. If you have 10 people on your team right now, so you plus 9 other individuals that are actively coming to meetings, that are in the game, that are consistent, right? 10 people on your team today, and let's just say you're running for a field associate, which is doing 10 business partners in a month, helping 10 families save $100 a month, right? So if you're doing 10, for FA, it's each person, so every single person on the team, as a collective, we all agree, we all contribute, we all commit to getting to having 10 people who say, yes, I will be there for the whole month. That's it. Look how small that number is versus having to get 100 people to say yes by myself, 100 people by myself, to now having 10 people, 10 of us, they get yeses, 10 yeses in a whole month. 10, yes, I will be there. And then each one of us helping find one person, one family to save $100 a month towards their future. Every single person here on your team, all 10 of you, make a decision to go be active, to take action, to go implement what you're learning and how we can help families and the resources you can provide, and helping one family save $100 a month. You as an entire organization, you as a team, knock out field associate. But let's say you're running for director and you got 10 people on your team right now, active, coming to meetings, consistent in the game, things like that. You're running for a director, which is 25,000. So each person, each of the 10 people will make a decision to get 22 and a half people to say, yes, I will be there. So each one of them, you plus the other 9, each person gets 22.5 people to say, yes, I will be at your local BLM on Tuesday, on Saturday, or on your webinar. 22 and a half. That is it. They don't want the show. It doesn't matter about that. It's just about getting the yes, I will be there. That's it. And then finding 2.5 families to save $100 a month. Each person, each one of us makes a decision to help 2.5 families save $100 a month. Boom, boom, boom. We hit, you as an entire team hit director. An entire team. That's a big, big deal. That's a big team accomplishment. So that's a solid thing. But let me show you this. Let's just say that you had 15 people come to meetings. Let's say your associate count was 15 versus 10, and you're running for field associate. Maybe you're just an associate, but you got 14 other people that are coming to trainings with you because you just make a decision to increase your associate count to grow your team so that the numbers get smaller. Versus each person having to do 10. Now each person just getting 7 people to say yes, I will be there for the whole month. 7 people that say yes, I will be there for the whole month, right? Yes, I will be there. And then only 10 of the 15. So it's not everybody on the team. It's only 10, a portion, a percentage. 10 of the 15 of the entire team goes, makes a decision to help someone save $100 a month. 10 out of the 15 do that. That's a big deal. Boom, you knock out field associate. It's a big accomplishment. But let's look at director. Now you've got, let's say you make a decision, you have 15 people come to meetings with you. They're active and doing all that stuff, and you're running for director. You're running for a director. The team is running to hit director, right? That's each person, each of the 15, getting 15 people to say yes. So I get 15 people to tell me, yes, I will be there on Tuesday, Saturday, or on the webinar for the whole month. And each other person on the team, the other 14 on the team, do the exact same thing. Exact same thing. So 15 who say yes, right? And then finding 1.5 families who save $100 a month. Each one of us, we make a decision to use the license, use the opportunity, use the resources and tools that we have access to help people get ahead by helping 1.5 families in a whole month, in a whole 30-day time frame to save $100 a month. But that's why associate account is so important. The bigger the team, the smaller the contributions is for each individual person on the team. The smaller the team, the more the people have to pick up. Think about you versus an army. Who's obviously going to win? Whoever has the most people. Numbers get smaller when you have a bigger team size. So make a decision, and I want to encourage you that this month, if you're not at 10 yet, that you make a decision to make sure you get to 10. If you're not at 15 yet, then you make a decision to get to 15 by the end of this month. Because that's going to give you an opportunity to make sure you can build this consistently, right? Consistently. Then if you're already at 15 or you're already at 10, your job is to help someone on your team get the 10 people coming to meetings. Help them get 15 people to come to meetings. Why? Because that's going to put them in a spot to do these numbers so that they can also win. They can also hit director, FA, be on track for marketing director, which is what we're going to cover in our Builders Call. Next is setting markers. So when you look at a whole month, you got to set your markers, okay? So if you're running a mile, the best way you can make sure that you're on track to run a 10-minute mile, an 8-minute mile, a 6-minute mile is to take the amount of time and you divide it by the amount of laps that you have to do, so you can give yourself clear markers of the pace that you need to stay on track for. So when you look at whatever your goal is, whether you're running for a field associate and it's 10-10-10, whether you're running for director and it's 25-25-25, whether you're running for marketing director, it doesn't really matter what the goal is. All you have to remember is that a month, you have the whole month, that is the whole time of the game to be able to maximize like scoring opportunities. So the first quarter, so I'm going to break each month down into 4 quarters. The first quarter is from the first of the month to the 7th. So the first week, the first 7 days, you want to hit 20% of whatever the goal is. So if you're running for 10-10-10, right, field associate, the goal by the 7th is that you want to have, you in the team want to have at least 2 business partners and help 2 families save $100 a month. In the first 7 days, that's the goal. You do that, it puts you on track. Now you're running an 8-minute mile. You're running like you're on track to hit field associate that month because you've hit the first marker. The second quarter is from the 8th to the 14th, and here's now you have a little bit more momentum. Your associate count should have gone up because now you have 2 other people on your team. So now they're doing 30% of what the numbers are. So if you're running for field associate, now if you look at a total number, which is 10-10-10, 30% of that is 3-3-3. So from the 8th to the 14th, the goal, the marker is for all of us in the team to rally together and go give 3 people an opportunity as a team, help 3 families save $100 a month. We do that in that second quarter, we're on track. You're actually halfway there. By this point, by halftime, you should be at 5-5-5. Going into halftime, entering into the last quarter. Okay? And then you have the third quarter. The third quarter is from the 15th to the 21st. The 15th to the 21st. The third week of the month, now you want to make, you're pushing to go out there and knock out the 50% of whatever the goal is. So if you're running for FA, 50% of the goal, right? 5. 5's across the board in that third quarter, in that third week. If you're running for a director, right? 12.5. Boom. 12.5, 12.5, 12.5 across the board in this third quarter. Okay? Now, as you can see here, that there are 4 quarters. As you can see here, that the third quarter only ends on the 21st. So what's the fourth quarter all about? This is what you call overtime. See, most people, they procrastinate and wait till the end and miss goals because they misjudged or calculated the amount of energy and effort that they required to hit their goal. So anticipate for that and set yourself up that from the 22nd to the end of the month, whatever month it is, that's something called overtime. And overtime, that's your extra cushion. That's the extra time that you bought yourself just in case you maybe were behind in the first 3 laps. Maybe you're a little bit behind in one of these quarters, right? That it gives you a little bit more cushion as far as time to make up for whatever you might have missed so far. So this is setting your markers. Whatever your goal is, whether it's field associate, whether it's president's club, whether it's director, whether it's marketing director, then making sure you set these markers up are going to help you stay on track to hit the goal that you want. And the last thing here is accountability. Now, accountability, you got to remember, one is that you're seeking out accountability. Accountability is not someone that's going to be constantly like nagging. Hey, so where you at? Hey, so where you at? Hey, so where you at? If you're keeping yourself accountable to somebody, it's for you to develop the habit of being vocal and communicating. Hey, here's where I'm at, because now it's something you're focused and obsessed about, but it's something that you seek out. It's something that you're seeking out, right? And as you're going through this accountability, as you're finding somebody that you can feel confident with, that I'm gonna keep myself accountable to them. You know, maybe it's your upline, maybe it's a marketing director, maybe it's one of the leadership in the office, maybe it's somebody else in a different office, right? That you're deciding to keep yourself accountable to. You also have to make sure you're consistent with it. That it's not just you being accountable when numbers are great. It's not just being accountable when things seem to be going your way. You got to be consistent in all the ups and all the downs, because that's going to pull you through, because the race is not finished. The game is not over. You just got to make sure you're accountable throughout the whole game, so you can stay on track and make up for whatever you might be behind in, okay? And just a reminder, all right, of why get promoted, right? Why get promoted? Just remember, most people don't make enough income today. Most people don't even like their jobs today. Most people are looking for a better opportunity. Like people are looking for ways to make more income. And by you making a decision to constantly advance and grow, going from a field associate to a director, or associate to an FA, or even just a trainee to an associate, the income potential in this industry is so wide open. There's so much possibilities that you have the opportunity to go out there and take advantage of. But the more you advance and grow, the easier and less work you have to do. So you got to ask yourself this question: one, do I want to lessen the work ethic for the same amount of income, meaning I help less families but I make the same amount of money, or do I want to maintain the work ethic for more income? So if I'm helping 3 families save $200 a month as a trainee, I'll make $2,000. But if I help the same amount of families, right, save the same amount of money, and I'm a director, instead of making $2,000, I'll make $5,000. So you got to ask yourself: do I want to do more, right? Do I want to do more just to make more money, or do the same amount of work to make more money? By that, it's just getting promoted. So why get promoted? Put yourself in a position where you're able to help more people and make more income all at the same time. You got the game plan, you got the numbers, you know what the tracking and all the markers need to be. Now it's a matter of being consistent, putting in the work, putting in the hours, and just making a decision to go out there and maximize this month for your future, this month for your family, this month for better income, better lifestyle, more freedom, more opportunity. Other than that, let's rock and roll.